Welcome, everyone, to another Games Talk Live. This is episode 28, and today I've got a special one because I have Asa from Game on Daily. What is Dailing? Anyways, Game on Daily, a news aggregate site that basically puts all the gaming news together for you, your one-stop shop for gaming news. Asa, welcome aboard, man. Welcome to this tiny little studio I have here, and I see you're in your own little bubble there, your little studio. Welcome, man.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. You know, every Saturday I do a podcast and I'm pressing all these buttons, but now I can just relax, put my feet up, play a little bit of Xbox and talk to Fonz.
Hey, no playing games on this show, and no Google when we do the we're not playing games here. So Asa, you've been around the gaming scene for a while. You know, we were just talking before the show. You're like 53, I think, 54
ish.
Yeah, somewhere around
getting there.
Anyways, so as part owner of like GameOnDaily.com, I wanted to know like how you basically got with Gaz and decided to, run this little website and do all this. Like, what is the story on Game on Daily?
That was an accident and I regret it deeply. No, I don't at all. It's a funny one, actually. So Game on Daily existed for a long time as a kind of gaming blog website that Gaz ran. And he invited various people to just contribute some content on there. And he saw me eloquently talking on another website about, at the time, I think it was, Drive Club came out at the same time as Forza Horizon 4. 3 or 4, I can't remember. The numbers confuse me. But he saw discussions on there, decided I was quite eloquent with my words, and he didn't know anything about Drive Club and wanted me to write a review for his website. So this is how I first got like any involvement with Game on Daily with Gaz. Was I wrote that review. He came back cheeky saying, "Oh, we should give it like a point lower than that because he's an Xbox guy and he didn't want this PlayStation game being the mediocre score that I gave it. He wanted to hammer it down a little bit more." But some years later, he started asking around, seeing who would be interested in like an aggregation platform. And I bit his hands off with bigger and better ideas. And we got right into it, heavily invested for the last 2 years and many more to come.
Yeah. It's a great website. Again, it's like the one-stop shop for all your gaming news. You go there and you guys just gather up news from all over, different media sites and everything, and just combine it and put it out there. And it's really cool to go at and go to it and look at it and see all the latest news and stuff in the world of gaming. So if you guys are interested in that sort of stuff, go to GameOnDaily.com. They got you covered. You guys even cover some of the Iron Lord stuff is even brought over to
Iron Lord stuff. Yeah, absolutely anything. It exists to bring content creators and people and communities together. So if you are going to go over there, please sign up. Please bring some friends over. It absolutely changes the way the website works and what you see on it. So
yeah, and it definitely would benefit you guys as well. So you know what? I know you've been on the Iron Lords lately, and if people will watch that, and I'm sure they probably have. If you're here, I'm a big fan of the Iron Lords, but I deliberately skipped that episode because I wanted you on my show. And I want to know your origin story, basically, your background in gaming, how you came up, where you started. What was it? PC? Was it console? And if it was console, which one was it?
Good questions. So I did go through this on the Iron Lords, and their show ran for 4.5 hours. Yours is 1 hour, so we'll condense it down a bit, huh?
Yes.
Very first console that I fell in love with was as a result of that guy. It was Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive. So it was in a public space. It was a little adventure playground, and there was a hut, and they had a NES, Nintendo, and they had a Mega Drive / Genesis for you side by side. They had Mario Brothers 3 and they had Sonic 2 playing at the same time when I first approached them. And I adored Sonic and managed to get hold of a Mega Drive at some point for myself.
Nice.
But see, a lot of people that know me now know that I'm not particularly into console wars and stuff. You hear a lot of people talk about how they were the same when they were a kid. They always did the Sega versus Nintendo, like in the playground, having fights with people.
That wasn't me.
I didn't. That wasn't me at all. And I think it's because I didn't know that many people that were that interested in games. But if I knew anybody that had a Super Nintendo, I'd be doing everything that I could to get into their house and play some of those games as well. So I
Yeah,
didn't have a Super Nintendo.
The furthest we ever went, me and my friends, was like, oh, well, there was no blood in Mortal Kombat on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. But we didn't sit there and really console war. We didn't care. If one had something different, a different console, we were glad to go over there and play something new. It was fun. Go ahead.
Exactly that. So I went through the consoles. I had the Mega Drive, the Mega CD. I was saving up for a 32X, and then the Saturn came out. Actually, still got that Saturn down there beside me right now. Had the Saturn, had the Dreamcast. Loved all my Sega stuff, but I guess as I got older, I got a little bit more money available, and I did start dabbling in the PlayStation. Final Fantasy VII got me a PlayStation 1.
Me too.
GoldenEye got me an N64.
Me too. Man.
Mario 64 put me off of Nintendo forever. This is my controversial take.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Why is that? Let me know.
I approached Mario 64. So remember I said that Sonic 2 was the one that gripped me most, but the game beside it was Mario 3, which I also loved. Mario was responsive in its own way, and it was fun to play, and there was a lot going on. And Mario 64 wasn't to me. I picked it up and I saw like eye-searingly green, boring, flat landscapes with one little Goomba thing walking around, and I did not enjoy playing it whatsoever. And that put me off of 3D platformers forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I enjoyed my time with Mario 64. It was, to me, the console was ahead of its time. Like, for cartridges anyway, like that was the really good one that, was putting out games that looked really cool. I thought Mario 64 looked good. I played games like Turok, even though it was really foggy. They had that, they covered up the field of view because you couldn't see too far into the distance. It was nothing but fog, but it was still a fun game to play. I thought the 3D animations and stuff were cool. We had a lot of games back then that used a lot of 3D. They had a lot of 3D platformers. So for them to put you off on that, that's crazy, man. PlayStation.
Most people would fall on your side on that. Most people would fall on your side. Obviously, it's like a beloved game for a lot of people.
Yeah,
but I hated it.
I didn't get into like Banjo though. I tried. I didn't like it. I know a lot of people don't like that I say that, but I don't care for Banjo. I don't have any nostalgia feeling for Banjo. I do somewhat for Mario, only because I did like the Mario games back in the day. Everything from the 2D side scrollers to the 3D platformers. I will say though that I think today's I don't play them. Like I'm not a big platformer, but when I play them, like the most recent 3D platformer I played was Psychonauts 2, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. And that's only because I do hold a special place in my heart for Psychonauts. I love the original, so I knew I was going to like this game. And aside from that, I don't really care for platformers. I don't play them too much. Mm-hmm. So, and you're the same way, I guess. You don't really play them.
No, I'm not into platformers at all. I say that I would say It Takes Two thoroughly deserves its Game of the Year award. I'm sure we'll talk more about the year a bit later.
I played a little bit of that with Dealer. Great game. But I only played very little. I didn't play too much. Got a lot of good people in chat. B Martini 001 here says, Fonz, so glad you're doing a podcast today. I look forward to your podcast every week and just want to say thank you for the entertainment that you bring us here every week. God bless you, brother. No, thank you very much, man. I seriously, that means a lot to me. I'm just a little show here, but it's people like you that continuously support or, come here every week and watch the show that really make me want to come back and do it every week. So I thank you. And Gone Mad. I can't wait to read a Gone Mad comment, because they're either one of two things. They're way out there and they make me laugh, or they're way out there and I'm trying to figure it out. Like I don't get it too much, but anyways, and that I like it. Gone Mad. You were very funny. Better late than never. Putting up the Christmas tree. Happy holidays, everyone. See, I understood that one though. Man, you threw me for a loop. Usually he tries to trip me up. I think. Yeah, sometimes he tries to trip me up on stuff. But anyways, I guess this is the Christmas episode. I won't be here next week there won't be a show. It's a holiday weekend. And the week after that, I won't be here either. It's a holiday weekend. Of course, we're going to be celebrating New Year's and all that. So, yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, no Lords. 2 weeks, no Games Talk Live. And what about you? Are you guys doing Go Live?
Just the 1 week off for us. Okay. Christmas Day we'll take off. I'll let Gaz have that one.
I'm gonna make some videos though between now and then, so I'm gonna have some content out for sure. I just won't have time to do the Games Talk Live on Sunday. Yeah, lots of good people in the house. Here we have Flame. He says, "Hey Fonz, I hope you and Asa have a great holiday. Thank you. I hope you do too as well."
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's in that holiday mood, the spirit and everything. A lot of people are going out of town. Be safe out there, and just have a good time. Have fun if you celebrate, or have fun if you don't celebrate. And play games. Do something. Anyways, Asa. So you started off for you, like the Mega Drive was the number one console then, or what is your favorite console? Because you didn't tell me.
Favorite console will be the Dreamcast. Dreamcast,
my brother. I'm with you.
A revelation for gaming, and it was quite pivotal for me. And like in my gaming history, games on there, things like Quake 3 and Phantasy Star Online completely opened my eyes to online gaming and sent me off into the PC side of things after that.
There you go. I knew that.
And obviously, it's success of the Xbox and so forth as well.
Yeah. When the Dreamcast came out, honestly, it's my favorite console till this day. I mean, the form factor, the way it looked, what it did, it was way ahead of its time with the VMUs. I loved those things. Like some people didn't like them. But
they were terrible. I had 8.
Really? Okay, so here's why I liked it. Couch co-op, playing stuff like Madden football, playing with a friend. They're sitting next to me. We pick our plays on the TV screen, and the other guy would just pick something to block me or whatever. But on the VMU, I could secretly pick what I want, and he could do the same. We don't have to look at each other. We can't see each other's plays. It was a beautiful thing. I loved it for that. And so Dreamcast was awesome. And then the online connectivity, Phantasy Star Online, that got me hooked into online gaming for sure.
Yeah, and over there you had things like ISPs, and you could probably play for a flat rate. Over here, the Dreamcast didn't have. You could you could get around it, but out the box, the Dreamcast had one ISP. It was a Sega's own option that they had negotiated, and it was pay as you go.
Oh,
pay per minute.
Yeah,
Fantasy Star Online.
That
was all
and
over it. I loved it.
I even played NFL 2K5 online, and that was a nightmare online because, I mean, let's be real. At the time, it was dial-up, and everything was like stop motion animation. There was a lot of lag, and but we still tried to play it. We still tried to play a sports game online. It was crazy, but I love that Dreamcast. What was your favorite game?
Quake 3 Arena and Phantasy Star Online together.
Of course, yeah.
Set my path. So.
Yeah. Donnie Casada says, asked this yesterday was spooky, but I remember you saying you play games to relax, as do I. Do you find that mental versus physical exhaustion results in a mood that you were certain that where certain games are played? Well, I don't understand the question too well. Do you understand? Do you guys find the mental versus physical exhaustion results in a mood that?
I think generally, a result of your day or your mood, will influence what I choose to play. If I've had a bad day, I wouldn't play Hellblade or something like that.
Maybe you mean like if you're physically exhausted from work or mentally from work, maybe that's what you mean. For me, it's both or either is really stressful sometimes. Like, either one could be really stressful. In any game, really, I can play to relax, even if it's, cutting heads off or as crazy as that sounds. But, some of these games are brutal. Or I'm just sitting there playing some kind of game like Psychonauts or something. I just love playing video games to relax and to unwind and to leave this crazy world we're in. I like the escape. What about you, Asa?
I see games as being able to provide all kinds of things. The escape is a part that can be really useful. Sometimes I don't need that, and sometimes I mean, I use Hellblade as an example all the time when people say that games have to be fun, because Hellblade to me wasn't fun. It was a brilliant game that was hard to play. Games can be everything. They're the best form of media as far as I'm concerned. So,
number one, yeah, I agree. So let's. Lord Starkiller here says, "Great 2021 for Microsoft. Look forward to more in 22. Also looking forward to Horizon Forbidden West and GT7 in 2022. As am I. I'm looking forward, especially to Horizon Forbidden West. I liked the first game. I liked it a lot. The story left me a lot to be desired, really, but overall, it was good enough, and the gameplay was strong, especially against the robots. Now, against the humans, not so much. The AI was really stupid, and the combat wasn't as enjoyable against the humans, but the robots, I really enjoyed getting the different weapons to fight against different robots and stuff. They were like susceptible to certain things, certain weapons. Did you play it, Asa?
I was going to ask you if you played it through to conclusion. Did you finish that one?
Yes, I did.
Fair enough. No, I actually, I really liked the first Horizon. I didn't expect to. The concept, the robot dinosaurs and all of that just came across really childish to me. But then they explained it away really well through the game. So yeah, it's not one of my top games of the previous generation, but I liked it a lot, and definitely looking forward to the sequel. So
I'd say it was a solid 8 out of 10 for me. It was really good, really strong game. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's get into 2021. Let's talk about the year, basically in review here for gaming. What is it about, like, this whole, we've went through this pandemic, and I know we're still feeling sort of the after effects of this. In some areas, they're still going through it really bad, right? But what is it about this whole gaming scene that you think really is making? Why is it taking off so well? Why do you think this the gaming industry, because it's making more money than ever? It's huge now. It's getting bigger and bigger. What is it about gaming you think that is making it just grow phenomenally, like exponentially right now?
That's a broad question. So there's
it really is, but
really is. There's the areas that I'm personally interested in. You have to look at like Xbox and PlayStation and how fierce the competition is at the moment. How strong they're both, despite all of the difficulties releasing games, they are both punching so hard at the moment to impress us. And that means that in our small little bubble, if you remember the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4 launches, they had like nothing for about 2 years from Sony, and they've bought Insomniac and they've come out swinging this time. You look at Microsoft, they actually started quite strong with the Xbox One with things like Rise, which some people hate, but it was a big budget, high effort game. But they are coming on top with positivity on all of their services and all of their vision and all of their plans, and exciting everyone. Like, the mood around Xbox is really positive at the moment. The mood around PlayStation is really positive at the moment. That has very little to do with how much money the industry is making at large. That's more around it becoming more accessible, more socially accepted, more. It's just available everywhere now. It's just more recognized as a legitimate thing to sit down and do.
And we could also add to it more egregious practices, like more predatory practices, DLCs, microtransactions, that sort of thing that has taken off. That would attribute to, the industry making more money. But
for sure,
what is it that appeals to people that gravitate to games that have those things? What like microtransactions, for instance? Like, what is it about these types of games where people are like, I've got to spend money here on this game? Like,
they are so carefully crafted to manipulate just human behavior. They're so cleverly designed. When you go onto something like Fortnite, we'll say, it's like, could be any example of a game that's free to play, but they're like, we're feeling generous, have like 500 of the credits for the store. It's like, they're not being nice, they're getting you into the store and familiarizing you with spending money on things. And it's all so well designed to trap people.
Yeah, and
That's kind of a negative, but it's
yeah,
how it
and
is.
they actually hire psychologists and stuff to try to get into the psyche of people that are more susceptible to these sorts of things too. They actually do prey on people.
Mm-hmm.
They do this. These companies are smart.
Especially
they know.
the gullible ones like Gaz.
Yeah, I've talked to Gaz before. He'll buy those microtransactions. All right.
Oh yes.
But, so does a lot of people. And I understand, I'm not a fan of microtransactions, but I get it in free to play games. And I get it in, if it's just cosmetics.
There's times and places where they're not negative. There's things like, like if you look at the way that over the last decade or so, if these companies have been figuring out live service games, and you used to have to buy like map packs for like Call of Duty or something.
Yeah.
And they ran into these issues where some players had and some didn't, and you wanted to play with your friends, but you had some maps, they had other ones. And it was a mess, and microtransactions supporting that kind of thing isn't necessarily bad. There's just so much bad practice around it as well that it's...
I learned early on from the Xbox 360 when Bethesda put out Horse Armor in Oblivion.
Mm-hmm. The first.
That's the first one I can remember anyway. And I remember buying it. And I bought it because I thought it was going to do something for my horse or myself. But it was basically just vanity. It was cosmetic. It was armor for the horse that didn't do anything. I applied it. It looked cool, but it did nothing. It didn't add to any stat. It didn't boost anything. And it was at that moment that I told myself, this is crap. Like, they just gypped me. Like, I was literally pissed off back then. And ever since then, like every microtransaction and stuff that would come out, I would always rally against, no matter what. Like, I was like, no, you shouldn't buy those things. Remember horse armor. I mean, I came to this community saying that stuff. I don't care for them. And I've taught my kids too. My son, who's 15 now, my older sons as well, but my 15-year-old now, I hear him online sometimes telling other people, don't buy that skin. What are you doing? It's just the skin. Because he plays Fortnite and stuff. And he doesn't care about any of that stuff, which I'm thankful for.
What's funny about that, though, is you rallied against it. As far as I remember, pretty much the entire gaming community rallied against it. It has a very strong parallel with NFTs today.
Yes.
Everybody's against it.
Yeah.
Look where microtransactions are now.
Mm-hmm. And look where, but that's the thing. These NFTs, let's talk about these non-fungible tokens. Mm-hmm. Now, it is, as I know these, what these are to be, are basically like something along the lines of like, it could be different things. Digital art, it could be works that, it could be like even video clips. People are buying video clips of various things online, of sporting events and stuff, like little clips of, Michael Jordan slam dunking, stuff like that. And people are buying these NFTs and basically owning something that isn't tangible and that sometimes is stolen from real artists. And it's not like, I don't understand the point, really. Asa, help me understand why people are so invested in buying these NFTs, other than the fact that it's just bragging rights.
I can't, to be honest. It's a confusing issue, first and foremost. It's really hard to discuss because it's really hard to grasp like what you're actually doing with a non-mushroom token or whatever. Fungible token. Yeah. Having an understanding of it is one thing, and it's difficult because the core concept of it, owning something digitally, shouldn't be entirely bad. There should be pros to that. There should be reasons that we want to own things digitally. There should be a scenario where that works for us as consumers. That's very unlikely to be what plays out, because what you end up with is tied to real money, and it's an unregulated mess of capitalism, and anybody can do anything. You've mentioned people stealing things already. Of course they are. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? It's an opportunity to do that. You've got every big publisher, just where we don't understand it and we're scared of it. Big publishers and their investors don't understand it, but they hear that it's a great opportunity, and there's this massive conflict of like, what are these the future of gaming? Do we hate them?
Yep.
who knows where they're going to go and if there'll be anything good that comes of it. I actually quite like the idea that I can own something in a game, in theory. So Ubisoft are saying, like, you play 500 hours and we give you this special celebratory cosmetic, but it's more than that. You own it and you can sell it and you can potentially use it in other games and things. There's a nice idea there, but there's also not. There's also just, it's just going to go horrible.
Yeah.
And you can see it coming.
And I guess the NFT, this token, is basically like a certificate of authenticity sort of thing. That's what it is. It's just basically saying, hey, you own this digital work and this is yours. But yet copies can be made and there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's really weird, but you own the original. Don't worry. You own the original and it's worth something. That I don't get it. And I don't want to really get it because I don't care. But they also say that, you know, it hurts the environment as well, I guess, using these server racks and everything.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, do I want something more in my games that could possibly make these investors more money or these companies more money? But they may take advantage of the consumer. No, I don't. You know, I'm not saying that every company is trying to take advantage of the consumer, but it can happen. And I don't know exactly what was going on with the NFTs in Stalker 2, but I believe it was kind of just like it was kind of an auction to see who would pay the highest bid to get their face modeled in the game to be the NPC, one of the NPCs in the game. And
this is where conceptually it's difficult because you can't really see why that needs to be an NFT. Like you could do that anyway.
Yeah.
Surely.
Why is this an NFT? Yeah. Why are you putting this as something that maybe you can sell off, like sell your own face off? I don't know. I don't get the situation, but at the end of the day, it's like I said, I don't care for anything else to be coming in that could be misused and against the consumer. That's what I would say. Lord Starkiller says, happy holidays, Fonz and Asa, and the entire chat.
And you.
Risk It for the Biscuit says, NFTs need to be kept out of the industry. We already have monetization in the industry that's not done well, but we have to, we have it. So what is its purpose, I guess?
What's the purpose of NFTs when you can already sell things and do all the things that it's purported to offer? Yeah,
it's true. Hargeet Chani says, games are interactive, range from short to long, and engage the mind in a way that TV or movies can't. True. Music is more like that you can sing along. Mobile games open new avenue for gaming and expand a lot. Yeah, that's all truths, man. All facts. We got one here from Eric Cuts for the Win. What's up, Fonz and Asa? Not sure if you talked about but my favorite game this year. Your favorite game this year. What's her favorite game?
My favorite. Oh, so
what's your favorite? Yeah, but she was saying, I don't know if you talked about it yet, but favorite game for us. I thought she was. I can't even read today. I'm sorry, but man,
asking us to guess.
My bad. Favorite game. What's your favorite game this year? 2021.
My favorite game and what I think should be game of the year different. My favorite game this year is Halo Infinite. My game of the year this year.
Why is that? I need to know this. I need to know why it's your favorite game, because I heard you talk some slander about Halo Infinite.
You certainly did. That would have been a week ago when I had just got to. I'm not going to give spoilers. Don't worry if you're in chat. But when the open world, when you're thrust into it, I wasn't pleased with it. I didn't enjoy it. I don't think you get a good introduction to its open world because it's capture this place, rescue these 3 people. Capture this place, rescue these 3 people. Do the same over there. Very Ubisoft in its introduction.
Yes, it was.
I didn't appreciate it. But then you get through the game, you get through the campaign, and they do such a phenomenal job of pitching it at Halo fans, delivering everything that's good about Halo, whilst also having a little look over at what Sony are doing with the sad dad genre and bringing a little bit of that in there. They do. You finished it. You know it's true. Again, this isn't spoilers. Master Chief doesn't have a kid in this game. There's nothing like that. But it's it plays on relationships and it plays on character building, and it does a very, very good job of it. And it's just a phenomenal game. But I know that I'm looking at it through the lens of a Halo fan. And I know that there are shortcomings in this game. There's someone who's not massively into Halo would look at the open world in the way that I did and probably be fairly underwhelmed. Whereas a game like It Takes Two, which is my game of the year, I think is phenomenal to anybody that approaches it.
Yeah.
So that's like the distinction. Halo is my favorite, but I can recognize there are flaws there.
Yeah.
It Takes Two is my game of the year.
There are definitely flaws within the story of Halo Infinite. I look at this kind of more of like a Halo Combat Evolved reimagined, sort of a reboot as well for the franchise as a whole. That's the way I'm looking at it, because there are some holes there from previous Halos and stuff that people have questioned. But as far as the game itself, it is phenomenal. The gameplay is so much fun, and it does harken back to playing Halo of old and just having a great time in this sandbox. But it's a big sandbox now, and I love it. The open world is something I want them to stick with. I just want different biomes. I want like a desert. I want a snow level. I want different looks to the outside, the world. But I had a blast. The addition of the grapple hook made it so much better. Like not only in combat, but for traversal as well. I didn't have to like get in a warthog or get in a mongoose and ride across the terrain. I could just take that grapple hook out, find a tree, hook to the tree, swing to the next one, almost like Spider-Man in a way. That's what I was doing. And then if I would see a banshee, I would swing up to the banshee, take the banshee, and go on my way. Like it was such a blast. That wasn't my favorite game though of the year. My favorite game of the year was Death's Door. I love Death's Door.
You're trolling me.
No, I do. I love it.
You invited me just so you could do this, so we could have a fight about it.
No. I love that game. It had a a really simplistic narrative, but it was cute, dare I say. And I thought it was challenging enough to be like, okay, this isn't too kiddie, but at the same time, like it was fun. And I kept thinking about like how I was going to tackle certain things as I was playing along, because I would die a lot in that game. Then I'd go back in and say, no, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I loved it. I thought it was a great game. And
are you, would you think that it was a worthy game of the year as your favorite? Or are you like me? Where
I think it should have won at least indie game of the year. I think it was way better than Kena or Kenna. I think that didn't deserve indie game of the year. I paid $40 for that, and I couldn't finish that. I couldn't finish it. I thought it just felt old. It felt dated. The gameplay anyway. It looked good, but even the open world was very uninspired. There was hardly anything in it. It was boring to me. But anyway, people like it. I know we have different opinions, but I do definitely think that shouldn't have won indie game of the year.
I agree with that. It's the qualities that it had aren't what you really look for in the indie space anyway. So,
yep. Risk It for the Biscuit says the issues in development in launch with lack of preload. It seems that the management issue at 343. Do you think that Bonnie Ross should be moved on? I was talking about that with some people recently, and they were informing me basically what Bonnie Ross does there. And she's been with the company for so long, and she does play games. She's a gamer. I don't think it was necessarily her fault, but I think she's, has some fault with all the issues that happened with management there at 343. But you have to understand, they had people that were creative directors that were leaving the studio, that were having a lot of issues, with the team. They had to basically restart making the game again, halfway through making it originally. And there was a lot of issues there that was kind of underneath her, but still above the team. And those people are now gone. Joseph Staten came in, helped out, and within a year's time, he made the game what it was. He helped shape and create that. They need to keep Joseph Staten on board, is all I'm going to say. I'm not asking for anybody's head, but I am asking that Microsoft say, Joseph, You have a role here. Please stay with 343. What do you say about that?
There's something there that I don't like to hear. There's this assumption from the outside that Joseph Staten came in and heroically made Halo good, and Bonnie Ross was responsible for everything bad about it. And I know that's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you can perceive that from a lot of the discourse around it. I think Bonnie Ross deserves credit for what Halo is now, like massively. Joseph was there for a year. He said when he arrived a year ago that he'd played through the entirety of the campaign. It was essentially finished.
Okay.
So what we've got and what people love, he shouldn't get all the credit for.
So you're saying basically Bonnie Ross. It's probably a collaboration between the two.
Indeed. So by all means, she's at the top. Apportion some of the blame to her. Apportion some of the credit to her. We're on the outside, so we can't.
We can't. Yeah.
It would be ridiculous to call for her head or anything like that. To attribute blame on any kind of intricate level. No, I know you're not. You specifically said that you're not, so it's fine. Yeah. But to kind of attribute blame like in that way. I mean, the preload thing is relatively minor in a way. So I get that it was frustrating for people on the day. The way that they released it in the UK, it was at 6 o'clock. Various other people had taken days off of work and things like that. I get that that's a pain. They delivered it in a strange way. The way they separated it out into part of it's on Game Pass, part of it's free to play, part of it's whatever, made it more of a mess than it needed to be. Again, how much of that is her responsibility? I doubt she's architecting that side of it.
Yeah. No, and especially in the chat, Delilah, thanks you for saying that, because none of us work here, so we don't know what we're talking about really. But we do know that we've heard that there was managerial issues there with 343. But we do know that there was people that left as well in that position. So, we can put 2 and 2 together and say, maybe that was the problem. It's gone. But I do think Joseph Staten did help out in the last year, and I think he should stay with 343 for sure. I think so.
He's a natural fit for Halo. He's got history with it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Again, when I say that, I'm not trying to take any credit away from what he did or didn't do. I just don't like the conversation being like, all credit him. Bonnie was bad. I don't think that's how it played out.
Yeah. I'm seeing here. Dealer's in the house. What's up, Dealer? Spooky Sprocket says, wishing you a Merry Christmas, Fonz and Asa, and a safe New Year. Appreciate you both. We need guys like you in this community. God bless. Thank you, Spooky. I was just on his show last night with him. Had a great time with him. We were talking about just all kinds of stuff, gaming related, and even a little bit about my origin history and stuff, like just some crazy stuff. Anyways, Spooky, thank you for the super chat, man. It's always good to see you in the chat. What's up, Dealer? Anyways, but yeah, it was a great game, but Death's Door is my game of the year. So a look back at 2021. I know you don't like the game, but why don't you like it? Why don't you like it? I do
like the game. I just don't understand like it being given as much credit as it is. It's very simplistic to me. And like respect to Acid Nerve, the 2 people that made it, they did a great job. It sounds nice. I love the sound, not just the music, but the crow feet as they go across the different surfaces. There's nice things about the game, but it's so simplistic.
But simplistic can be really fun and enjoyable.
It can, but I just can't. Like that's why I say it's a nice game, but it's not top of the pile for me.
Did you play Kena? Bridge of Spirits?
I didn't.
I wish you had, because we could have had a conversation on that. It looks nice. I'll say that. It looks nice, but the gameplay is very underwhelming. And, it wasn't fun. The controls weren't fun to me. They were very just dated. And I didn't like some of the things that you did in combat. Like, it just wasn't fun. For me, I know a lot of people loved it out there, and that's good for you. If you loved the game, that's great. I didn't. And I didn't see why it was up there for the nomination anyway. I just didn't see it being game of the year. I didn't. Independent or not, it doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, let's talk about 2021. What are some of your highlights for 2021? Like, what were some of the games that really stood out to you or surprised you even? Like, because I have a few.
I've got no idea. I'm really bad at keeping track of time. I can't remember what happened in 2021 and what was in previous parts of my life. Yeah, and what was when? So I can remember yesterday. Yesterday I was playing Demon Souls. That's a good game, but that I'm pretty sure that came out last year, 2020. So that
Yeah.
doesn't count. Um, I've played a
Well,
hell of a lot of Halo. I played Hades a bunch. I played Hades last year for sure when it came out on the
yeah.
PC and the Switch or whatever. But this year I
Any game
hit that
surprise
10
you at all?
completions. Probably. Probably. You
Probably.
name some, and
I'll
I'm
tell
going
you
to
something.
piggyback.
For one thing, for me, the biggest surprise was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hmm.
Aside from, Halo Infinite, that surprised me that it was good, really good, great. I was expecting a mess with that game, but 343 turned it around. They did their thing and they made it good. But the other surprise for me was Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians, looking at that game initially, when they showed it off initially, it looked like a cell phone game. It looked terrible to me. I just didn't care for the look of it. It looked, it sounded bad. Like even the jokes and stuff within like the presentation that they would show, like they all fell flat for me. Like it didn't seem like it was going to be a big AAA experience, and it didn't seem like I was going to like it at all. And most of my friends were the same way. So all of us kind of put that out of our minds. We're like, we're not playing that. And then it came out, and I remember the first I heard anything good about it was from Zocker. Zocker was in a party chat and he was playing it, and he's all, guys, you got to play this. It's great. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, I'm not believing that. But the next day I ended up buying it, and I started to play it, and I was like, wow, the banter here is crazy. The narrative here is so good. Like, so I'm glad they won best narrative because it was well deserved.
Hmm.
The gameplay, for me, the combat, it's still a bit, it's not that great. Like it's rough around the edges. Some of the animations are kind of jank, but it was still fun. It was still good. But it was that narrative and that banter that just kept you going, and it was just really solid. It surprised me a lot. So that's
And what's really funny about that is everyone felt the same about the trailers. Everyone, apart from Tony Okami in the chat there, he told me beforehand it's going to surprise everyone and be good. But it's funny because those trailers, if you go back to them after playing the game, they are actually a reasonable representation of it. And it's a really weird disconnect between not liking this trailer, that is what the game is, and then the game comes out and it's really good. I'm still trying to figure out what's so bad about the trailers. How did they pitch it so wrong despite it actually being
even if you go back and look at them, they're terrible. The trailers were terrible.
What the game is, though, right? There's nothing in them that's like, oh, that's not how it plays out. In fact,
it's just
they are the game.
Yes and no. It looks a lot like a cell phone trailer, like a cell phone game trailer. That's what it looks like when you look at it. It's like you could see that, and then like a Raid Shadow Legends commercial on right after it, and it's kind of like the same thing. It's just weird. Whoever their PR guy was.
Avengers as part of it, yeah. But it's also, so they debuted it on the, it was on a Nintendo Switch event that they unveiled the game. So potentially, if they were being honest, they were showing the Switch version. I don't know. I've not looked back at it to that extent, but I imagine the Switch version is looking a bit like a Switch game, yeah.
Oh, I bet. Hargeet says, Fonz Really Gaming doesn't like it, but Gunk is a nice, chill game. Try it out after Halo. Sir, I never said I didn't like it. The guys, okay, so he's been in a party chat with me recently, and Dealer, Zocker, Colt, they're all trying to get me to play this game. They're all playing it, and then they're saying the same thing. It's a nice, chill game to play. It's nothing spectacular, but it's good. And I'm playing something else. Like, I'm in the middle of Mad Max. I'm saving the world, and they want me to play the Gunk. I don't want to play the Gunk right now. I'll try it out eventually, but I'll leave my judgment till after I play it, of course. But yeah, I haven't said that I don't like it. So thanks a lot, Hargeet, for putting that out there. Anyways, did you play the Gunk?
Not yet. And what the most appealing thing about it for me is I've heard, so we were talking to Colt yesterday, and he says it's about a 5-hour game, which means actually it probably is quite easy to slot in at some point. Yeah. I like short games. Yeah. They suit me.
Yeah, I like that you said that's the most appealing thing to you, is that it's 5 hours only, and yeah, from the way it looks, I'm glad it's only 5 hours. Yeah, but I'm going to try it. I could love it. Who knows? I could really enjoy it. You never know. But Gaz is in the chat and he's laughing, and I don't know why, but he's laughing.
Gaz is constantly laughing. It's fine.
Yeah. I like Gaz. Delilah says, but Fonz, you historically don't like anything. Just kidding. You know what? I take offense to that because I like Halo Infinite. I like it. It was really good. It was a great game, and the multiplayer, of course, is phenomenal. But yeah. So right now, what are you playing?
Godfall. Right this moment.
Wait, excuse me? What was that?
I tried it. I've only tried it because
Say it again. Say it again. What game?
Godfall.
God awful?
God awful.
You're playing that, huh?
So what I figured I'm going to do is more videos, just sampling things that come out on subscription services. So this is my reason for playing it. I'm not like a masochist. I know what the game is supposed to be. I just want to record some footage and tell people what the game is.
Oh, wow.
Just because I've got a YouTube channel, I've got the equipment to capture nice, fancy quality stuff and show people what it is.
Yeah.
How do you like today?
How do you like
it? Gloss over Godfall. Games I actually like that I'm playing at the moment is Demon's Souls. I played yesterday.
Another old game.
New to Souls games in general. It is an old game. It's also the newest Souls game at the same time.
Yeah. True.
And that's an eye-opener for me as far as that little subgenre goes. I'm enjoying that quite a lot.
So, you know what?
Other things.
Now, getting back to the whole 2021 thing, the year in review, so to speak. Did you watch the Xbox documentary?
I've not seen it yet. I knew you were going to ask that.
You really have to watch it. It's so good. The other night, we had some downtime at work. We weren't running at all, so we were all just sitting around. And I saw that was, up, all 6 parts. I watched all 6 parts, and I got paid for it. I just sat there and watched the whole thing, and I was riveted. Honestly, and I'm not saying that lightly, that documentary is just so full of transparency, and the way they just come out and say, hey, yeah, we messed up here, and here, but we turned this around, we turned that around. It's so good. It's such a good look into, like, honestly, sit down, take some time, watch that. I'm not saying watch it all at once, but watch all the parts to that series. It's so good. That could have played on Netflix and been a hit. I'm telling you, even people that aren't gamers would watch that. It is really good. It shows you like a rise of a company, then a fall, then they rise again. Like, it's so good. I don't know if chat, have you guys watched that documentary? It's so good. Gaz is saying he loved it. But yeah, it was such a good documentary. I mean, there was a part, I'll tell you one part in the show that really shocked me was, during the 360, they had the red rings of death. I had 5 that got that. But in the documentary, they didn't know what was causing it at the time, but they knew it was a big problem and it was going to cost them over $1 billion to fix. The guy goes in there. It was Peter Moore. He walks into Steve Ballmer's office and he says, this is what's going on. It's going to cost $1 billion to fix. And he thought he was going to get thrown out of there. But Steve looks at him and says, just get it done. Writes him that check, Amazing stuff, man. Like, seriously, you got to watch it. It's really good.
I had three red ring of death. 2 of them were caused by Oblivion.
Yeah. And it's just, right now, I mean, what would you say is your assessment of Xbox and PlayStation this past year, this generation? I mean, so Xbox is their ambitions and foundation for this generation is phenomenal. They've obviously only just started delivering the games. We know that started with Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite, but I mean, their studios are delivering cracking games, which is new for Microsoft. They've not really been doing that for a long time, and the future is just massively promising for them. And Sony, it's the same old Sony. Like I said earlier in your show, they've come out swinging harder than usual. Yep.
And they're putting more year one games out than usual, and I fully expect them to carry on as usual, money assing games everywhere they can and making sure that they are delivering to PlayStation fans. So I don't think anyone owning either of these consoles has anything but good times ahead of them, right?
Yeah. I would say that right now, I think Xbox is really firing on all cylinders. They're just putting everything into this Game Pass situation, which is very successful. It's very good. And I think the quality of games that they're putting out now are good. Like they are competing again on a level we haven't seen them in quite some time.
And they're just getting started. That's what's so
they're just getting started. Yeah,
just getting started. Yeah,
and for PlayStation, it's been kind of like business as usual for them, but they are changing. Asa, we see a slow change in PlayStation, whereas the industry as a whole is changing, and a lot of people would attribute that to Microsoft, because Microsoft, for the console game, they are changing things up with Game Pass now. This service, as much as a lot of fanboys out there want to naysay the service, it's a game changer. It really is. It is changing. It's an industry changer. It is making it to where PlayStation now is going to do their own service. And they're talking about now, I guess it's going to be $20 a month or something.
I've not seen the rumors on price for it, but
yeah, that's a rumor I've heard, that it's going to be like $20 a month for Spartacus. And there's no really confirmation on day and date with new games at all. So we don't know what's going to happen there exactly, but it's been a very good year, man. Like for both companies, some solid games have come out. I'm really excited to see what's coming this coming year. And that's what I wanted to ask you as well. Like for the future, what are you looking most forward to in 2022 as far as games are concerned?
And the future's the same as the past. I can't remember what's what. Obviously coming up soon, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West. I put God of War in the list as soon as well. I don't think it will be that soon, but it will be next year. Not Gran Turismo 7. Sorry, somebody mentioned Gran Turismo 7 earlier. That looks like a train wreck of a game at the moment.
What about Forza Motorsport 8?
It's a massive open goal for them. Like, Turn 10 are a technically accomplished, phenomenal studio. You see what they're doing with Gran Turismo 7. It's massively underwhelming by anyone's perspective, I think. And then, exception being PlayStation VR2, I do expect that will give something to Gran Turismo 7. But,
you know what they keep showing for Gran Turismo 7 is the cinematic where you get to watch after they keep showing shots of like photorealistic looking cars and stuff, and it's like, that's not in game though. That's not what you're playing.
That's how they've marketed Gran Turismo games forever. Right back to the first ones with those replay modes. They put so much effort into those replay modes. But the interview that they did the other day, like, oh, it's great being able to do it on the PlayStation 5. It's a cross-gen game now, but those haptic triggers, it's like just like braking in a real car. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
don't believe
just
you.
Like braking.
Go back.
Yeah. That's another thing too with the DualSense. Like people really put that up on a pedestal. I don't. I turn them off in every game. I don't play with them on because they're more of a hindrance sometimes than helpful. Like I don't want my controller fighting back.
They're in that stage at the moment where they're used whether it's the right idea or not because they're new. Like Ratchet and Clank, every weapon had this like half depress, full depress modifier on it. I think there's times where those triggers will be useful, but they're just in that experimental phase where like it's new, we've got to put it in everything at the moment. Yeah. Even if it doesn't fit. Starfield. That's what I was looking forward to, not what's going to suck. Yes. So Starfield, obviously.
Yep. That's one of the ones I'm looking forward to a lot too. Lord Starkiller in the chat says, big surprise for me in 2021 was getting MLB The Show 21 day and date and Game Pass. Yeah, that was a big one, man. That was one of his
definitely
top 4.
A big surprise.
Along with Halo Infinite. Yeah, Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, Flight Sim, and Ratchet and Clank. That was his top 4. That was a big surprise when MLB The Show came into Game Pass. What was your thought on that when that happened?
Baseball, like it was massively hilarious because of the whole it being a Sony game and this still being done above them. So you could see the funny side. This is more of Gaz's area of source, right? But even me, I can look at that and laugh and see the funny side of it. But I've not downloaded it. I'm not going to play a baseball game.
Yeah. Spooky Sprocket said the Xbox documentary was so wonderful and interesting that I would love to see a sequel series based on the rise of Phil Spencer from when he took over. You know, somebody was mentioning that in a party chat with me. They said it would have been cool to even see like the whole story of, just Phil Spencer and what surrounded and what elevated him to that level and why he got that role and you know, all that stuff. It would have been very interesting. But I think it's kind of self-evident why he was placed into that role, because if you look at Don Matrick, go back and look at any of his interviews, between him and Phil Spencer, was like night and day. I mean, they were complete opposites. Don was more of a guy that was all about numbers and wanted to put TV, Netflix, all this stuff. Like, his messaging was so wrong, whereas Phil is about games, and Phil is a gamer at the end of the day. So it makes a lot more sense why they went with Phil. But yeah, I'm with you. I could watch another one of those. It was very, very cool. Risk It for the Biscuit says, how good was it that they stole Windows? Yeah, that was funny at that part. There was a part in the series where the guys at Microsoft that made Windows wouldn't give the DirectX team access to their Windows files. So they went in at night and stole it from their server rack. Yeah, it was crazy, just so they could implement it on the Xbox. There was a lot of cool stuff like that in the documentary, man. It was so good. Lord Starkiller says, watched all 6 of the Power On episodes. Great job by Microsoft at Xbox and Xbox showing the challenges and getting console from concept to consumer. Yeah, that was amazing. Shout out to Zocker, by the way. He says, Fonz. What's up, Zocker? And then he says, Asa. Yeah. 2 amazing content creators. Thank you, Zocker. I appreciate that. Hargeet says, happy holidays to Fonzarelli Gaming and Asa Game On Daily. With ILP moving back to 1 p.m., can GTL be a little later as well? Need the break after ILP. You know what? I've already moved because of ILP. They used to run so long. I used to start at 1 o'clock. They used to run well past 1, and that's when I moved it to 2. So unfortunately, you're only going to get about a half-hour break between us. It is what it is. I'm not moving further past that because my guy's over there in the UK. It's already 10 o'clock over there. So, yeah, I try to accommodate everybody. So, yeah, I'm staying at 2. Anyways, Asa, so in the future, looking towards 2022 and on, you mentioned Starfield, you mentioned a couple of games, but what is it about this generation, or I haven't even asked you, how do you feel about this generation going forward? Do you think it's going to be a really strong one, or what's your thoughts?
See, I can't remember your stance on this. I'm one of the people that's very eagerly awaiting the previous generation hardware getting dropped to really see what we can do with these new consoles with actual decent processors. When we were talking about my kind of gaming history earlier, didn't get as far as mentioning that I really was not keen at all on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 on a hardware point of view. They both had games that were worth playing, but the hardware was never exciting, and that is not the case with these consoles. I've got a ridiculous PC that's on a par with Zorka's, probably a bit better because, sorry Zorka. We'll talk about that another time. No, I've got a PC, but the consoles are still exciting this time purely on a hardware perspective because they've got beastly processors and SSDs in there. Sod the graphics, they've got beastly processors that actually change what games can do. And then you've had that Matrix demo of Unreal Engine 5, which is like the first proper look at what they are going to be doing. And it's not the fact that it looks true to life, it's all of the physics, all of the pedestrians, the size, the scale, the fact that a small team can do that. We're going to get games that we haven't had before. The grass and the trees are not going to be made of Forerunner alloy in the next Halo. That's my hope anyway. I want to drive a tank into a tree and it's not going to go, they feel like moving. Yeah. It's going to do stuff. The dirt is going to be dirt. It's going to be soft. Games are going to change, and I can't wait.
Yeah, especially with the CPU now that we have in these consoles. We're going to a point where we're getting the frame rates that I've always wanted. Even last year, or last gen, I was sick and tired of 30 frames, but it was what it was. We had to deal with it, right? Unless you went PC, but I wasn't going back to PC. But that's where I knew it from. Like, I got accustomed way back in, this goes back to the late 90s, early 2000s when I was playing like World of Warcraft. Okay. I was playing these games and I love the frame rates. Like, I would always try to do things drop shadows, drop whatever I could just to get those frame rates as high as I could. And then, of course, on console, you don't have that luxury. But now with the, new CPUs, every game, it seems, has come out with a performance mode. So you at least get 60. And that's what I want, at least 60.
It's funny that you call that a luxury. I'm a PC gamer and I'm very familiar with those settings. But I was saying when I was on RDX, actually, you weren't there. It was your week off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't like settings in console games. Despite being from a PC gaming background, I don't like settings.
But what about performance modes? Just a performance
modes.
To me, I think that's a great compromise.
I think there's exceptions. So if you're talking like niche performance modes like 120 frames per second, by all means, bury that in the option somewhere. I don't like the 60 or 30 particularly.
Yeah.
I don't like how commonplace it's become. It's like you can look at like Forza Horizon 5 and say, actually, for a lot of people, the 30 frames per second mode is good there, but that's rare.
But do you think they're ever going to drop the 30?
No, sadly not. No, but I would like, as I say, despite being a PC gamer, I would like the one profile that my console fires up to be the best you can play that game.
Okay, see, but that's where I have an issue. I need the performance mode. If 30 is going to be around,
well, that would be performance.
Yeah, you have to give me performance. Mode. If you're not, then get rid of 30. Get rid of it. I don't even want 30 frames in a card game. I just don't want it. I can't deal with it anymore. Like I go back to an older game and immediately it's jarring. It's like it's stuttering. Whereas before it felt normal. It felt natural. But get rid of it. Before I let you go, because we are at the hour mark, we forgot to do something at the beginning, and that was
I thought I got away with it. I forgot.
We're not getting away from this. We're not getting away from the game. You know what? We just had some great conversation, and that's why it just escaped me. But I got them right here. And so for anybody out there that was wondering, they didn't do 5 questions. Well, we're about to do the 5 questions right now. And Asa, start to squirm.
This is going to go so badly. All right.
Okay, because we're going to play
5 questions.
All right, Asa. 4 trivia questions, 1 subjective question. So you'll be good for the 1 at least. And I got a couple of easier ones in here for you. So not just for you.
That's actually worse. Knowing that they're easy ones, and I'm still going to get them wrong.
It wasn't like Asa's coming, I'm going to make some easy ones for him. No, I got a couple of easy ones because that's what I'm starting to do. I'm starting to just give a couple of easy ones out there for guests, and then a couple of hard ones, or at least I think they may be tough. We'll see. We'll see how you deal. Music, though. Got to have the music.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard Entertainment is best known for what gaming franchise?
Best known, that's difficult. What's their biggest?
Their best known franchise. Blizzard Entertainment.
Best known, I'm going to go with, is it Warcraft or Diablo? Diablo.
It's actually World of Warcraft. All right. So second question. Name the protagonist in the Splinter Cell series.
Oh, you prick. Stealth guy. Prick. Sam Fisher.
There you go. See, you got one. All right, here's the one that might be a little tough on you. Do you remember the Splinter Cell series at all?
I have never played Splinter Cell. Stealth game.
Just to let people know that they are remaking the game, Ubisoft Toronto, they are remaking it. And Sam Fisher in the original game, how old was he? Do you remember that? In the game, how old was he? Sam Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, having never played it, he was definitely 36.
He was 45.
Ooh.
Man, he was an old man. I'm saying old man. I'm 46, but you get what I mean. Anyway, who was Atreus's mother in 2018's God of War? We found out at the end of the game who she was.
We sure did. I know this one. Give me a minute. She did. She was giant thing. I can't remember her name. No, go on.
She was a giant from Jotunheim. But you don't remember the name at all? Oh, Faye.
It was for that was in my
Faye.
head, but that didn't sound like a giant name, so I just gave up on it.
All right. So I guess some of them were just too hard for Asa.
Yeah, I'm not
Darn
good
it.
on this gaming stuff.
But yeah, we
Fraud.
didn't even get to touch on Splinter Cell. But yeah, they are remaking that game, folks. Are you happy about that, by the way?
I just can't
Do you
wait
like
to
the
buy
game?
the NFT t-shirts
Yeah.
and dress my Sam Fisher up in your face from this show.
Yeah. You're
Which
getting
I now
buzzers
own,
for that.
by the way.
Yeah. I like the Splinter Cell series. And I'm not that into stealth games, man. But that game, though, that franchise was solid to me. I had a blast with that game. Those games. Favorite gaming experience of all time?
Probably whatever I did yesterday. This is the subjective one, isn't it?
Wow.
Whatever I did yesterday. I don't know.
Favorite
really have a
gaming
favorite.
experience?
It's
You don't remember
it
like
should be a really easy question, but it's not. I'm going to say
just name a great gaming experience in your
it's not going to be a great game. It's going to be 7-player, very drunk Saturn Bomberman. Getting people
What?
together in a household. Sega Saturn had a version of Bomberman that supported up to 10 players. but only had 7
I know what you're
controllers.
talking about.
But it
I
was-
played that, sir. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to give you a ding for that because you did it drunk, huh? You guys,
We were like
Yeah.
15, so yeah, all the time.
what, 15? I do not advocate for,
Oh no, things are different
Young
now. If
drinking.
you're 15 right now, be sensible.
yeah, be I can't believe you, Asa. You were the sensible one from Game On Daily. You come here to the show and talk about, oh my gosh. I take it back. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, thank you for coming
I
on the
need
show
the
today,
charity.
Asa. We'll end it on that note. It was a great show. I had fun talking to you, buddy, talking about the games this year, next year, the games coming out in the future, what these consoles are going to be able to do. I'm excited. I know you're excited as well. But tell everybody out there where they can find you and your website, all that stuff.
Definitely. We'll start with the website, gameondaily.com. Go there, have a look, and sign up and talk to people because it will make that website a very different experience for you. Obviously, we've got the Game On Daily YouTube channel where we're on Go Live every Saturday, not Christmas Day, but every Saturday. And you can find me as Asa_Game On Daily just about everywhere. Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all of it. And Fonz, thank you so much for inviting me onto the show. I would like another crack at 5 questions one day in the future.
You're going to come back and we're going to have another crack. And I noticed that my banner said CJ Grinnell. It said Chris Grinnell was here. I can't believe I didn't change that. Holy crap. It's been a weekend, man. I am very sorry. But yes, people, find him at Asa_Game On Daily, right? Or On Daily.
Yep.
Yeah, Game On Daily,
Daily,
on
yeah.
Twitter. I will have all the right information in the description of this video. Best believe I will. And of course, GameOnDaily.com. Follow them there, guys. Join this site. Have fun with it. Read all the gaming news there, all the latest and greatest stuff there. It's your one-stop shop for gaming news. And until next time, guys, game on.